Hi, Marina. Hi, Mayu. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. So, good morning, everyone. It's Eriko and Ron.
What's going on, everybody?
Okay, then I'll talk.
I requested you on Instagram.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Then I invited you already, so you can jump in.
Yeah. It said I saw that I requested.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Okay, now. But it says you're not available.
There we go. It's coming up.
All right.
I'm gonna make sure it's not too dark.
Okay.
Yay. Okay. I have a standing desk, so I'm over here rising and lowering it. I'm dog sitting for my friend, and she has this little tool here, and I am trying not to step on this thing. So I have to sit down, or this puppy will not be coming back anytime soon. And this is what she does. All she does is lay on her back and get her belly rubbed. That's all she cares about. So yeah, she's just like sitting here on the desk now, just getting the only thing she needs in life. I wish I had it that easy.
So she said, Mayu says, it's so nice to see you, Ron. Yay!
Good to see you.
So what time is it in US, New York?
8:40.
8:40 Friday night. Thursday.
Thursday.
On Friday. はい。
Yes.
ニューヨークは今木曜日1日ね、14時間。So 14 minus 14 hours.
Right.
So, yeah. 声がダブってる。Oh, okay. So now your voice is kind of howling. So my voice.
I see. I'm going to
So can you
I need to lower this.
Yeah.
Keep going. Is this better? Better?
どう
Better.
いいこんな感じで。Can you talk a little?
I'm talking a little bit more. Talk a little more. Is it better echoed? But sound better?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I did was I turned down the iPad, which has the app on. I turned that down, and I have you on my headphones, so that should help with the echo.
Perfect. Okay. So good morning. Let's start. Actually, it's our third story.
Yes.
And so it's been like 2 weeks since we did last time. So the story so far is like the review is about Ron's story. And Ron started opening a restaurant, and then it kind of successfully opened, and it went for a year, right? Or 2 years?
2 years, 2 months, and 16 days.
Wow, you remember everything.
Yes.
But out of blue, something happened and it went all away. Even your dog named Lucky. That's so sad part of. Yeah, but
yes.
So それで、可愛いワンちゃんも and also your girlfriend. So you said goodbye to everyone, and
they said bye to me.
Oh, so sorry.
Well, okay. Let me stop. It was we all said bye.
Yes.
Everybody got a one-way ticket.
みんなね、往復切符じゃなくて one way ticket っていうことで。
Yes.
But now you're returning here with big smile.
Yes,
that's the story. Hi.
Yeah.
And so Ron found a way to get through following his passion. So I want to, know about that story. Hi.
Yeah.
エリコさん、さやかさん、イエーイ。まだロンの声がダブってる。Ron's voice is a little howling. One way ticket.
It's echo.
Yeah.
Like an
でも
echo.
いい Then why don't we do we can stop this Instagram instead.
Are you sure? Because if I put my mic on mute, that doesn't help you that much, huh? That's what. But we didn't have a problem last time. I'm trying to figure out what I'm missing.
みんな声大丈夫? Oh, now she says, 今全然声大丈夫. So 大丈夫 is no problem. Yeah.
Okay. Good. We're back. All right. Good.
Yay. そう、それで、one way ticket っていうことで、now we are on one way ticket path. So everything is kind of one way and one kind of, you are committing the chance in front of you always. So, okay, so after we want to know about your story. And after that, I want to know how to follow your passion. Or what's your name, by the way?
This is Miss Robinson.
Miss Robinson. Hello, Miss Robinson.
What up? Look, she's just ready. She's just ready. That's all she wants.
Ah, cute.
All right. So this is Miss Robinson, but she gonna kick it with us. But Angela, what's going on? Good to see you, Angela.
Hello.
So yeah, the one-way ticket, and then you want to talk about the just chasing your dream and passion and all that, huh?
Yeah. So how do you conquer restart? How do you restart your path after you close in off a restaurant and after?
Yeah. So
it's a disaster, right?
Pardon me?
It was a disaster because 3 unlucky happened. And how do you...
that happened all before I actually got to open up the restaurant.
Okay.
This is while I had contractors that were building the restaurant. They walked off the job while I was building the restaurant. The girlfriend, the dog, all that stuff happened around my birthday. In September, all those things, all back to back. My friend going to law, getting sued and all that. All that stuff happened all at once for me. And this took place before I was opening the restaurant.
Okay. じゃあ、オープニングレストランを建てている前に、ワンちゃんが亡くなったりとか、彼女とが去っていったりっていうことがいきなり自分の誕生日のあたりで全部起こったって。Then after that, you built your restaurant with your dad, and then you started, right?
Yeah, so I was number one. That was fun. It was a great experience. Me and my dad, we didn't have construction experience at all. We didn't know how to do it. Yeah. Yes.
But you built the restaurant itself.
I was in the restaurants on the main floor of apartment building So, but this is the deal. It was only 4 walls. It wasn't it wasn't a restaurant. I had to put the piping in. We put the piping in and all. I didn't do it. The construction did that part. But we had to finish the other 15% that wasn't done. So that was the drywall. That was grouting the tile, putting the floors in, and completing the countertop, and putting a hot water heater into the building as well.
Oh my gosh.
So one of the lessons I learned, I think back to and I reflect on is that not only did I start doing a restaurant, but I moved into something that wasn't restaurant ready. And if you want to start doing a business you've never done before or you don't, the best way is not to turn nothing into something. You want to move into something that's already move into something that's already prepared for you. It's a little bit of a message there too, right? Because usually we kind of think that it needs to be this way, and we get tunnel vision because we saw the opportunity. And because I was so tunnel vision, I didn't see the big picture of anything. That I just knew that I saw 4 walls. It was in a good neighborhood. We'll figure everything else out. And we did that, but it was it was a nightmare. But I didn't know that. I had to go through it to know that. So you asked me, what did you do after it closed? All right. So, while I was open, I had a great experience. I lived in the same neighborhood. I knew everybody on the street, and a lot of people came. It was fun. I was #1 restaurant in Prospect Heights, Brooklyn. And I was the top 100 places to eat in Brooklyn. I was doing catering. I was doing music festivals. I was doing everything, but I wasn't managing the business properly. But I wouldn't have known that unless I went through it.
Okay, can I explain it in Japanese a little bit? その一番初めに始めたレストランを建てた時って、そのアパートの1階を借りた。で、その状態で全然レストランじゃなかったところから、だいたいその工事が 50% 終わったところぐらいで、その 業者が抜けちゃってパパと一緒に建てるっていうことを全部01から始めちゃったので、すごい大変だったんだけど、でもロンがその、壁を、ちゃんとこの壁4つしかなかったところからパイプの水の配管とかだけは頼んだけども、そういうところからも全部自分たちでやったって、それすごい大変だったんだけど、その時はトンネル、what did you say? Tunnel mindset or what did you tunnel?
Oh, tunnel vision. Tunnel vision.
ビジョンだからこれしかなくって、だけど本当はもっと there's widespread chance or if you, 今から思うとそういうものが初めからあったところ、設備が整ってたところを借りたらよかったっていうのはあると。だけどその時は you could enjoy that, circumstances even, right? No?
Oh, you said I could enjoy or I couldn't enjoy?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. だけどそれはnightmare だったって。
Yeah, it was. And the thing is, I kept going and I kept going and I kept going. And after a certain point, you got to take accountability of knowing what your worst case scenario is. Worst case scenario. If you're going to go into business or do something you've never done before, you have to think about what's the worst thing that can happen. It's not a pleasant thought, but at least you know where your bottom line is. I did not do that for myself. I teach entrepreneurship and I know how to tell somebody to do it, but we never are good at taking our own advice. We're never good at taking our own advice. And so while I felt like I was an exception to the rule and so forth, I acted that way as well. And that was unacceptable. You know what I mean?
So you learned from a bit bitter experience.
Exactly. So, so I closed the restaurant. I had to close the restaurant. Go ahead.
一番今になってすごい感じるのが、大事なことは最低になってしまった時のことの想定もしておくことが一番大事だと。でもそういう本当は考えたくないけど楽しいことじゃないけど、これがうまくいかなくなった場合っていうのも自分の中で常に、イメージというかそういうこともあるっていうことを自分の中で考えておくっていうのがすごく大事。でも自分がそういうふうにはならないっていうのをね、俺だけは特別だみたいに思いがちなんだよねっていうことですよね。Okay. Then after that, next. Sorry.
I kept going and I ignored my worst case scenario.
ずっとね、無視し続けてたんだって。worst case scenario をね、最悪の事態を。Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you know what's going on? My earphones are on the iPad. On the MacBook and not on the computer. That's what's going on. Oh my gosh. Hold on a second.
Actually, it's working. Can you?
Okay. As long as the break's not there. Okay. So,
and then so you experienced the worst case scenario.
I ignored it. Therefore, I was not managing the money, and therefore, when you ignore your worst case scenarios, there's going to be a chain reactions of other things get worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, a lot of things that there was chain reaction to those bad decisions because I made an exception to myself, to the rule. And so I had to, close the restaurant And it came to a point where I questioned myself. I was like, well, I failed at this. So that means that I don't belong in entrepreneurship.
それで、レストランを閉じることになっちゃったんだって、それは理由としてはやっぱり常に worst case scenario は俺だけはエクセプショナルだって、そこにはもう自分はね、自分大丈夫だみたいな感じで、そのworst case scenario を受け入れてなかった自分がいた。だけど結果的には、レストランをね閉じることになっちゃったから、これ失敗、自分は失敗だっていうふうに思ったっていう。Yeah.
So, you know, the thing is, when I went back to like, so after I closed the restaurant, I went back to corporate advertising. So before I opened up the restaurant, I used to work in corporate advertising. And so I went back. So I used to work at ABC, Time Inc. I used to work at these companies to do advertising sales. And I dropped the ball. Like, I just didn't fit in. I didn't fit in at all. And it was a nightmare. It was me going back, doing backward steps because I felt like I failed, so I need to go back. And I felt safe. And this is the one thing I learned. Just because it's a safe space, just because it's a familiar space, does not mean it's safe anymore.
OK。それでレストランがね、軌道に乗らなくなって閉じる。そして自分は元いた場所のね、職場に広告の営業をしてたんだけど、その会社に戻ったと。だけど全然元いた場所が、安全だと思ったけど、一回戻ったら全然安全な場所じゃなくて、もう全然楽しくなかったと。で、そこで学んだのは、後ろに戻ったっていうのはね、それは安全じゃないっていうことを学んだって。OK? Yeah, bitter story.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. I didn't fit in. Come here. I didn't fit in. I just kept getting spit out from the corporate life. And honestly, I lost my. Come here.
Maybe she's hungry.
Yeah, he'll be alright. Okay, that's not working either. So the deal is, oh my gosh.
It's okay. めっちゃ可愛い。ミス・ロビンソンがライブ、私のロンを取らないでよって。
Solutions. We're out of here. He's alive. He's safe. He's good. He's in good hands. Never a boring day. All right, I'm focused.
Okay.
Going back to what you're familiar with does not mean it's safe for you anymore.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah, and so when you feel rejection and you don't feel like you fit in, you go to something that you only know that you're familiar. You don't go deeper into the unknown, right? Naturally, if it's in here, but in reality, you're kind of supposed to keep going forward and not going backwards. And so one of the challenges was me dealing with that. And so I went back to the corporate world and I kept getting rejected.
Yeah.
Rejected. Yeah. And so it wasn't until I started realizing what else can I do with my life? What are things that I'm excited about that I can do? And I remember having a conversation with my mom on the phone. We were talking about Flint, Michigan. April, we were talking about Flint, Michigan, because they had a water crisis going on because there was lead in the water supply in Flint, Michigan. Therefore, it's causing like lead poisoning for everybody there, including youth. There have been youth that have been drinking that lead poisoned water for 4 years at that time. And so there's long-term effects of lead poisoning. So you can get the water, fixed, but you can't reverse lead poisoning. And so there's learning disabilities and there's social development issues. Go ahead.
So where is that? Is that
Flint, Michigan is 45 minutes north of Detroit north of Detroit, Michigan.
So, and you explain about the flood is happened in 4 years ago or what?
This was in 20. This was in 2018 at the time. This is 2018 at the time, and that was his 4th year at that time.
2018にすごい洪水が起こってミシガンで、それでそこで全部流されて、今も still the water, there's a water problem, red poisoning or
that's a longer conversation. There's a lot of politics behind it. It's Flint, Michigan residents were paid $600 million, which breaks out to be about $1,000 for all 7 years that they went, 6 years that they went without water. So that's nothing but a tax refund that they gave people of Flint, and that's not a lot of money. $600 million is not a lot of money that you give a whole city to. And also you don't, and also like the long-term effects of lead poisoning. Like they gave them money, but they didn't give them money for that's lead poisoning. Yes. So that's something that me and my mom had a conversation about on how do we teach youth how to invest in themselves and create work for themselves, because the traditional way of finding work is not going to help them, because it's going to affect graduation. Lead poisoning is going to affect graduation rates, attendance, which means it's going to be harder for people to find jobs. So if we have kids that were 5 years old and they're now going to be 12 and they've been drinking that lead poison water as youth, the traditional way of graduating high school, going to college, or getting a job, that stuff is done. And so that's where we came up with talking about how can I teach how do I teach entrepreneurship to kids? Because I took the classes. I learned from my mistakes as well.
Lead poisoning is LEAD, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Sorry, my bad. その、お水、ちょっと、actually this part was a little difficult for me to translate. So in the water, they 鉛、food poisoning は食中毒なんだけど、lead poisoning は鉛の、中毒。それが、水道の水に鉛が入ってて、中毒になってて、で、それが it affects youth, right?
It affects everybody, young kids and adults, but the kids are the most susceptible because they're growing minds, they're developing minds that have been lead poisoned.
Okay, you got it. So, その lead poisoning が、鉛の飲み水のね、食中毒じゃなくて中毒。それで、そのお母さん、so your mom is an educator, right? She's a teacher.
No. My mom, she works in IT. She's a project manager. We just have these conversations about entrepreneurship. We talk entrepreneurship all the time.
Okay. それでこれから何をしようかなって考えてたときに、その子供たちのthank you. そう、水道水に鉛中毒で、地域の人たちの健康被害がすごいあったから、で、その中で僕は何ができるかなっていう考えたときに、so you want to contribute to the youth and education, and you want to share your ideas and experience about for entrepreneurship to make their own way.
Exactly, and not depend on employment.But depend on themselves.
それで、若い人たちを育てる、企業のマインドを育てるっていう、そっちの方向にしようっていうことを決めたっていう、はい、そんなストーリー。Okay. Sorry, maybe my explanation is not enough, but let's go.
No, it's good. I think I'm assuming, I guess, how would I know? I don't know. I guess it sounds great, by the way. It sounds fantastic.
Thank you. Okay, and then so that's the 20.
This is the job. This is 2018.
Mm-hmm. So 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And then you started.
I forgot to tell you, after I closed my restaurant, I started running marathons. I ran my first half marathon after I closed my restaurant, and I got baptized again. So I go to church. I'm Baptist.
Really?
So 2 things happened after I closed my restaurant. I started running marathons, and I went back to church. I was like, God is real. God came through. All right. So that was a big experience for me.
Okay. 2018年ぐらいにレストランを閉じるときに2つのことが起こりました。1つがバプティサイズって言ってたけど、その洗礼を受けた。で、ちゃんとクリスチャンになったっていうことで、So you believe in God and you know all the...
Double time.
そして、2つ目が、マラソンを始めた。So you challenged half marathon first.
Yes. So the reason why I brought it up is because I started running marathons. I started printing out shirts to bring awareness to Flint, Michigan. And my main focus, which is, none of this is coming to me. I never thought about this until right now. But I was always driven to, I wanted all my races. I was just going across the country. And on top of that, I had Flint on my shirt. So every time someone saw me running, they see Flint and they'll be reminded that Flint is still is still having water issues. All right. But the point, because I was doing, I think I've done 20 races now. I've done 20 races with Flint on my shirt. So I've been in front of all these people for the last 4 years of raising awareness. The big picture for me, the reason why I wanted to do youth entrepreneurship is not so much that I want all the youth to start a business. I'm okay if they don't start a business. That's not what I'm doing this for. I want the youth to be empowered and prepared for greatness. So if they're graduating high school and they're interviewing for their very first job and they don't have work experience, I want them to be able to read a profit and loss statement to their hiring manager. I want every student to have some type of tools that they can bring to the table that says, I may not have work experience, but I took Mr. Ron's class and I can break down a cash flow analysis for you if you want. You know, I want them to know that they have something to offer and not come to the table empty-handed. A lot of people talk about having a seat at the table, but no one talks about what they have to bring to the table as well. It's not so much the seat. You can stand at the table and drop a photo on the table and drop something to contribute to people, but the seat doesn't really matter. It's about what you're going to do once you get to it. And so I want all my youth to know that it's not about just grabbing a seat at the table. It's about bringing something with you to contribute as well. And that's what's the overall mission. And one of the things is we talked about it in book club last night is exposing youth to entrepreneurship. There's a lot of people that have never been asked or never thought of running their own business. They've never been asked that. I never thought about entrepreneurship until I came to New York. I never crossed my mind. But when I look back, I have entrepreneurship all up and down my mom's side of my family. It just never connected for me. And so we call that the opportunity gap. I want the students to have an opportunity to try entrepreneurship. And if they don't like it, you're welcome. You did it in a safe space with Mr. Ron's class. You didn't go open up a restaurant and go through thousands of dollars of debt and lawsuits because you didn't know better. I want my mistakes and my lessons learned to be a curriculum for students so they can live off of that. So when they do start their businesses or they do start their first job somewhere, they've tried and they failed under my care. So when they're on their own, we all know that failure builds character.
Right. So can I explain it a little? じゃあちょっと it's a lot. But first point was that Ron started marathon and he runs 20 races so far, and he wants to express your message as is that kind of victim of the flood? Or one
more time.
So the lead poisoning. So they are struggling, so you want to give them the message and not to
That's
forget
correct.
about that. So that's part
That's
of
correct. Yes.
one message, right?
Perfect.
なんかその鉛のね中毒水道被害っていうのを、訴えるためっていうのもあるから、その T シャツをねいつも着て走ってたっていうことで、そういうそれを忘れないためのメッセージっていうことで、それがね走るねエネルギーになってたっていうことが一つと、あとそのことを、その頃にまた新しいそのユース、若者たちの教育、そのアントレプレナーシップを、教える先生になってるんだけど今も、その活動をしたきっかけっていうのが、その子供、自分たちが少なくとも高校にハイスクールを卒業するときに、じゃあ就職しますって言ったときに、雇用の人たちにただ言われるんじゃなくって、自分がこういうことができますとか伝えられる子供っていうか人になるっていうその精神を育てたいっていうことだよね。で、そういう気持ちもそうなんだけど、自分が起業できるっていうその可能性があるっていう選択肢の一個として起業があるよっていうことも、ロンはニューヨークに来なかったら全然分かんなかったことなので、そういうその環境を自分の、under your warm, the roof っていうかね、その中で、
Yes. Perfect. That's perfect.
そういうことがすごくそれをやりたいって言ってる。I think most of the people here understand English, so maybe my translation is not perfect, but you'll get that.
You're showing up. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Yes, that's so beautiful. So now we are...
How much time we have? Because I want to make sure I get to a couple points.
So we are wrapping up.
Okay.
Yeah.
だ
からちょっと I think it's not enough to, learn from you. So I want to do some special lessons.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let me, I'll finish with this part. I'm going to finish with this part. I was just introduced to this, this idea. It's called the curb cutting effect.
Curb cutting effect.
Curb cutting. So the curb on the street, the sidewalk to the street, curb cutting. Initially, curbs were being cut to ramps because people in wheelchairs couldn't cross the street safely. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Curb って、縁石 is a little block on the street for, sideways and the road. それを cutting, curb cutting.
Yep. And so it turns a ramp so people in wheelchairs can cross the street.
だから wheelchair がある人も、道が渡れるぞ。
Because that focus was on people in wheelchairs, the reality of the situation is that curb cutting helped out thousands of other people.
Beautiful.
Parents with strollers, the blind, UPS, the delivery, shipping and delivery, dogs, I don't know, right? Because of the curb cutting effect, when you focus in on one thing, you're going to realize that you're going to be manifesting energy from other individuals because you're focused on one specific purpose. And so now we can get deeper into it on the next one, but right now, because of Flint, Michigan's water crisis, I've been able to travel the country and teach in over 12 different cities, hundreds of kids. Wow. Ironically enough, I have not been able to get a partnership in Flint. I have 20 races on me. I've been reaching out to all the organizations. I have not had one partnership in Flint, Michigan yet, but I have hit all these other cities, curb cutting. Wow. I started off doing workshops. And then I took those workshops, I put them online because of coronavirus, as a pandemic. I took that online course and I created an e-learning portal. Now all my content lives online. to teach entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I have an e-learning portal,
Mm-hmm.
other people want to work with me so I can create curriculum for them and they can live on my portal. Curb cutting.
Wow.
And so when it comes to the challenges that are going on in life, if you lean into them a little bit more and not retreat, you're going to find that there's breakthrough and opportunity on the other side. And it's going to take lessons learned and mistakes to understand that just because you might be in a dark place, you actually need to keep going forward and not backwards, because you probably still have to go through it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine getting tested and walking out on your test, but hey, you still have to take the test. So at some point you're going to have, there is no option but to go through. And so when you go back out of fear, out of failure, just because it's a familiar space does not make it a safe space. So I wanted to put that all together where it comes to being focused on helping some kids in Flint that I haven't been able to help yet, but I'm able to help people all over the country. And because of that, I've been able to help other individuals create curriculum and courses for other people.
Right.
And Eriko, I say this to you before. This portal is global.
Yeah.
There's opportunity for English speaking and collaboration for students that want to speak English. And you want to do a pitch competition and we speak to each other, and they meet with high school kids in Brooklyn and in California and in San Francisco. I have the support for that to happen. Curb cutting. All right.
So curb cutting ってずっと言ってたんだけど、so you are not doing only, curb cutting is just for explanation, but when it means you focus on one thing, then it spread out for all the issues. まゆさん、ありがとうございます。その一番初めに、そのミシガンのね、地元のその水道の被害について始めたことが、it's connected to running marathon and give the message. And did you make the workshop or, presentation for the kids for each destination? I mean, the race when you...
No. I ran because I wanted to run, because I sprinted through the restaurant industry. And so because I was tunnel vision, I was moving too fast. And that's part of the reason why I had to close my restaurant.
Yeah.
And so because of that mindset, I want to be able to live my lesson. That's another, I got to make that a t-shirt. I want to be able to live my lesson too. And so that is the reason why I run marathons, because it's an outlook on life. And then I like kicking my own butt. I like when I'm pushed, I get nervous, I go anyway. And I like that challenge because that means that's a moment of growth. So I'm always going after every single race.
Right. それで走ることになって、その走ってる時にもね、ずっと自分のチャレンジ、何か起こったことっていうのは自分の学びになってる。常に自分のね、kicking my ass って言ってたけど、お尻を叩いていく。そして毎日
You know me well.
そうだから、やってると。で、水道水の被害のために始めたことが多くの人を巻き込んで広がってるんですねっていうことなんだけど、そう、ありがとう。そこのね、ポータルサイトみたいなe ラーニングのポータルサイトをロンが作って、そこに今は直接はその被害に遭ったね、人たちに直接、それをサポートするっていうのはまだ至ってないんだけど、それ以外の、ステイトでね、県で、アメリカの、エリアでいっぱいロンのところに協力してくれる人とか、僕のビジネスをこのポータルで、e ラーニングに変えるっていうかね、そういう風にしてほしいっていうオファーがいっぱいあるって。で、これからね、例えばそれは英語の、ポータルサイトなんだけど、日本の Japanese High School Students たちが、またそこでね、出会ったりとか、ピッチコンペティション、自分のなんかやりたいことをビジネスにするっていう、そういう
Adults too.
Of course, yeah. 大人もね、そういうところでまた出会って、また新しい、ものをね、作っていくっていう。で、ね、後々は、で、ニューヨークであったりとか、サンフランシスコであったりとか、そういうこともできるよねっていう話を、great ideas をシェアしてくれていました。
Let's make it happen.
Information, yeah, so big dream, but we can do that.
All right, what time? Let's do it.
そう。っていうことで、ちょっと長くなりましたが、またもう一回ね、説明というか、今日の Today's message from Ron is maybe, even if it's a darkness, it's connected to the light side. So you go through it by, just focus on how do you conclude this?
I just saw this morning about the yin and yang and how darkness is connected to light.
Yeah.
And if you want to have a painting and you want to show brightness, you need the dark in the background and how they're codependent of each other. You can't have light and know what light is if there's no darkness around. And so I think the point here is that growth is uncomfortable, but it's rewarding when you lean into it.
今日なんか陰陽のね話で、dark side and light side があるじゃん。だから、光っていうのは闇がないと生まれないし、闇っていうのは光があるから闇になる。その強さが、so if the darkness is darker, then light is more lighter. And we can make this light kind of stronger thing. And it can help more people. And it connects you to.
And also darkness is going to come. And to think that is not is irresponsible. But how you respond and how you respond to the darkness is what's most important. But to think that no darkness is going to come to our lives, I think you're a little bit more prepared knowing that the pendulum swings both ways. You have to take the good with the bad.
振り子はどっちにも揺れるから、そこにどういうふうに、反応自分がするかっていうことだよねって。Oh, that's really deep and beautiful words. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
本当に Thank you so much. ロンは本当にこんな感じで本当素敵でしょ? Yeah, you know Ron already, but he's so beautiful mind and hope you like it. And maybe we can do another session or we can make a small group and we can do kind of session.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's connect. Let's talk about it. Let's collaborate and make something happen.
Yes, great. じゃあこれからなんかちょっとね、なんかチャットじゃないけど、このZoom とかを使ってまたみんなで話すっていう機会をまた改めて持ちたいと思っています。So, thank you for coming in this time. And it was really worth story and it was great opportunity for us to learn from your story. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right.
というわけで、Ron and Miss Robinson. Thank you.
They said bye, Miss Robinson. I think she's
Miss Robinson.
Yeah, she's light out.
All right. So thanks for your time. ありがとう。
ありがとう。
はい。それでは、キャストします。Thanks for watching.